Wes Hutchcraft and Lathan Musgrave are two guys that I've known for a number of years now. Met probably 10 years ago through a mutual friend in the outdoor industry. And in that time have developed a friendship, have been on a few hunts together. And of all of the people that I have ever known, these two are probably the most unorthodox deer hunters that I have ever met. If there is a deer to be killed, these guys will literally do anything in order to put it down on the ground. So this past year, whenever we had a couple spots open up on the team, I gave them a holler, asked them if they would be interested. They were more than enthusiastic about jumping on board, and I have to say we were pretty excited to see what kind of new dynamic they were going to bring to Hallowed Ground Outdoors.
The essence of who we are and the realities in which we stand are evidence of things unseen. And the individual frames of our life that exist between the beginning and the end are influenced with purpose. They are the shadows of the substance. They are the moments that are leading us to hallowed ground.
Me and Lathan, we started, it's kind of a friendship that's cultivated over time. When we were in high school, Lathan got saved at a church camp that I was at that summer, and over the years, it's just grown and grown. We started hanging out in high school, and he said, "Hey, why don't you come hunting with me?" And he took me out, and I called him that afternoon and said, "Hey man, I shot a monster." And I shot my first 4-pointer that day. So as far as our hunting style, I would say that Lathan is kind of the push the envelope guy, and I'm kind of the guy, hey, whatever you're doing, I'm game for it. And over the years, we've done some crazy hunts. We've been out in the field with the deer, stalking them. I mean, we've set in places that it's like nobody would set there before. And it seems to work for us. We've got a style that's unorthodox, and we like it. We like it that way. We don't want to do what everybody else is doing, and over the years, it's really paid off for us.
The way I hunt is, I guess if you looked up the definition to hunt, I don't know exactly what it says, but to me it means, you know, to get what you're after, to seek it out till you find it. And if that means getting out of the tree, you know, I'll get out of the tree and chase him. If that means, you know, sitting in a hole in the ground or out in the middle of a field, you know, it's just, I like to get out there and get after them. If they're not gonna come to me, I guess what I'm trying to say is I'll do my best to get to them.
Oh, Lathan just shot him.
I got that buck. We come back out, set up on him again. He got in the river. I hit him a little low, broke his leg, but it must have got a little bit of his heart. We watched him jump the river and he couldn't get out. I'm scared that he'll sink. So I'm going after him. Oh. Oh, God. Oh. How are we gonna get him out of here?
I don't know, but this is some of the coolest footage I've ever seen.
You ever took a trophy shot like this right here?
Most men draw their value off of what they do. It just so happens that what I do is I'm a photographer. Every day I'm taking pictures of people, and because of it, it's given me the ability to kind of see things a little bit different than what I typically would have. Definitely an eye for detail, an eye for trying to pick out things that I feel would make a perfect shot. And being a photographer has been something that's really helped me out being a cinematographer in the woods. As far as becoming part of Hallowed Ground, JD had contacted me and said, you know, we've got some openings if you're interested. And I immediately called Lathan and said, hey man, this is something that we need to do. We put some things together, threw it on a DVD and sent it their way. And the Lord opened the door, and it was just something that we stepped into. So. It's something I'm gonna do naturally anyways. I'm gonna be in the stand, and if I can connect that with my faith, I'm all about that.
I demand the best. In a game of inches, when the smallest imperfections can mean the difference between success and failure, I feel confident knowing that every QAD Ultra-Rest has been designed, manufactured, and assembled right here on American soil. With unparalleled precision and uncompromised quality, the Ultra-Rest is more than a piece of equipment. It's a part of who we are. I shoot the Ultra-Rest, America's Rest, only by Quality Archery Designs.
I'm excited about this year's hunting season. I'm pumped up for it. And one thing that whenever I go to the woods, I want to make sure that I'm confident in the products that I'm using. This year, I'm going to be going into the woods with the Flexstone Buck Collector. Really excited about this call. It's got a good natural tone to it. And it's not only just a grunt call, but it's a multifaceted call for one. It not only gives you the doe, the fawn, and the dominant buck, but it also gives you the snort wheeze, which is great come rut time. Whenever I got this call in, I was kind of excited to see what all calls that Flexstone offered. And one call that I know that I'm excited about for this year is the Black Rack. I've got a friend who uses one and has had great success with it. It simulates two bucks fighting, where, you know, typically with you got two half racks and you're rattling, you don't quite get the full sound that you do with the Black Rack, which simulates two full racks fighting against each other. And another call that they've got that's really gotten my attention is the Ground Grunter. And for any guy that's been in the woods and used this grunt call very much, you've probably had deer look right up at you. With this call, it kind of puts the sound on the ground level. For any guy that's a hardcore bow hunter, that's something you want to check out.
We are on the ground. We're going to lay low. We're going to hold still. We've already seen one doe. We're meat hunting tonight. Of course, we'll keep our eyes open for bucks, but there's nothing better than taking even just a doe off the ground with your bow. I love it. It's a major accomplishment to me, especially when you bump them up here about 10, 12 yards and you slip that arrow in them. I mean, I get pumped. I get excited just thinking about it. I've already seen one doe. If they do what they do in the past, they should be right here in front of us after a while. So here we go. Get Wes to hold still. I'm going to hold still. We're going to lay low.
It was towards the end of the hunt. Things were kind of closing down on it, and the deer started funneling out of this thicket that we were kind of pushed up in. And Lathan looked over at me and he said, "We've got a shooter in the field." It just so happened that that evening, it didn't quite work out for us. They started kind of filtering out in the field and got just out of range. But we knew that this was a deer that we wanted to keep our eye on, and we wanted to kind of stay in this area. We'd finished up our hunt for the evening. We head back to the truck and we start putting everything up, packing up our gear like we do every other night, and thinking we've got it all packed up. We get in the truck, throw it into gear, and about that time we hear a big crunch. And it just so happened that we ran over our camera.
This episode brought to you by Bloodsport Archery, 100% carbon, hand-sorted premium arrows.
Tinks Scent Systems. Turn a big buck's desires into your advantage. Appeal to his appetite in the early season with our forage system. Challenge his dominance with our pre-rut system. Draw on his need to breed with our rut system. Tinks Scent Systems. Now you have the advantage.
This is the Midwest, the heartland. A place where hard work has collided with innovation for decades. The spirit that's driven men and women forward for generations is the same spirit that drives us today. People ask from year to year if we're building a new bow, and we'd rather say we're building a bow that's better. We are Athens, and it's not about being the biggest, it's about building the best. This episode of Hallowed Ground Outdoors is brought to you by Quality Archery Designs. Focus on the shot. We'll take care of the rest. Tinks, industry-leading lures and attractants. Non-typical wildlife solutions. Protect your plot with a hot zone deer exposure system. Night muzzle loaders. Power, style, safety, and accuracy. Hoyman's extendable premium tree saws. Evolved Harvest. Grow more groceries per acre. Lakewood Products, extreme cases for the sportsman. Wild Game Innovations, nutrition, attraction, action.
Me and Lathan were on our way down to Campbell Cameras in Carmel, Illinois. A couple weeks back, me and him got down out of the tree, loaded up our stuff, and hopped in the truck. And well, we'll just say the cameras got ran over. Trying to think of some clever way to say it. They got smashed. So that's what we're doing today. We're heading down, making the trek down to Carmi, and going to visit Campbell's.
Well, Wes and Lathan stopped by the shop today to fix a little issue that they had. I mean, you know, here at Campbell's, we pride ourselves on being able to fix most every problem except when a camera meets the back right tire of the truck. But, you know, in all seriousness, we pride ourselves on being the go-to for the outdoor industry and being accessible, you know, just about any time of the day. Campbell Cameras isn't just for the professional, and we're not just for the hobbyist. I mean, we really and truly have the ability to take care of everybody, whether it's the guy with a small handy cam, all the way to the guy running the biggest, baddest production camera that Steven Spielberg would be happy to get his hands on. We pride ourselves on being accessible for guys in season when they've got problems. You know, I don't know of anybody else in the electronics world that knows how to speak deer hunter.
Me and Lathan, with us hunting a little bit unorthodox, we love to decoy. It's kind of one of the things that we really enjoy doing whenever the rut starts rolling around. And it was getting towards the end of October, things were just starting to heat up a little bit. We were seeing some deer chasing and seeing a little bit of activity. And we went back to the place where we saw that nice buck early on. We set up a decoy and we kind of planted ourselves, hoping that that evening was really going to turn out.
It's the 1st of November and we're already seeing deer from the stand tonight. We got up late. It's one of those nights when absolutely everything goes wrong. I've been up this tree 3 times now, dropped my release, got up in the stand, decoy fell over. But everything's went wrong. But we've already had a nice shooter buck come out across the field, and we feel good tonight. We're getting ready to have our vacation, so we're excited.
We had sat there for quite a while. We had seen the buck that we were after. He had run across the field and went into the thicket that was on the south end of the property that we were on. So we kind of felt like the hunt was getting towards the end, and we had some does that started heading our way, and I decided it's time to eat.
She's mine. After 3 shots, man, I feel like a moron. What I did is, that first time I legitimately I just that was my bad. That second time though, after I shot at her the first time, I thought she's all keyed up. So I aimed low on her, and I hadn't adjusted my pin. And because I did that, she didn't duck it at all, but I shot underneath her. So, the last time I just put it on her. What I should have done from the get-go. So.
She runs off, and I look at Lathan and I said, you know, we've got all this noise going on, let's rattle. Maybe we can bring something out right here at the end of, you know, right before dark. We start rattling. I mean, I was really getting after it, and I no more than turn around and he's right there.
Hellground Outdoors is brought to you by Dave Smith Decoys, the highest quality decoys on the market, made in the USA.
I had just done a really good rattling set my antlers back up, and I knew that we kind of needed to keep our eyes open because it could happen at any point. And I turned around to Lathan and, you know, just said, we'll see how that works, and turned back around, and he was right there.
Kill the shooter. Oh, dude. We rattled the horns together just a few minutes ago. And I told Lathan, I said, there's gonna be one to come out. And I heard something coming. And dude, he walked right down here to the bottom. We shot him. He's dead.
Whenever you shoot a deer, there's kind of two scenarios. You see him go out of sight and you're not sure how to feel about it. And then there's the scenario where you see him go down and it's immediate satisfaction. And that's exactly what that hunt was. In regards to photography, I know that it's really changed the way I look at things. It's changed the way I see things. It's changed the way I even see detail in life. And that's exactly the way my faith has been in my life. Looking through the lens of faith, it's really changed the way I see family, I see relationships, and even the way I see hunting. I look at, I get out in the woods and I really begin to grasp how great our God is and how big He is. The lens of faith truly changes the way we see things.
Well, we got our buck, we found him, and now we've got a little bit more of a daunting task on our hands, is finding this doe. She went into the thicket, so we're gonna track her down so we can get her out. And I'm telling you, I'm gonna cook something tonight. I'm hungry. So. That's dinner. Oh man.
It's a place where I've seen my Maker's face, and where I'm born again as sunrise by His amazing grace. A peace and a purpose I have found in this sanctuary, my hallowed ground. And I am standing on this hallowed ground, where I was born, and it's where they lay me down. If anybody asks where I can